My name's Amanda and I'm from Grishko in the UK, and I want to talk to you today for a few minutes about padding in pointe shoes. I'm only referring specifically to the issue with Grishko Pointe shoes, as I can't comment on other manufacturers. But basically, a Grishko Pointe shoe, if it's fitting you correctly, you shouldn't need a lot of padding in your shoe. This is because a Grishko Pointe shoe is designed to fit really snugly and securely round your foot. And when we achieve that fit, most dancers find that it's so comfortable that they don't need a lot of padding. However, if you don't achieve the right fit, it can feel very, very painful, very uncomfortable, and you find you're taking a lot of weight on your toes and therefore you want some padding. So we would recommend that obviously first prize is to try and get the right size of pointe shoe and make sure that it's fitting you properly. Okay, and then possibly pad individual toes that are hurting or rubbing, because you can't always get it absolutely perfect, and maybe one toe or another is hurting more. So we recommend to our stockists who fit Grishko shoes that they start all fittings with a big toe sock. So something like this, put on the big toe, just to cushion the big toe and make sure that that is comfortable, because that's often the most uncomfortable bit. And then on the other toes, we usually advise that they use something like this micropore surgical tape. Or a quicker solution is these very clever little things called pinky pads by Bunheads, that you can put a little gel, sort of half a sock, on all the other toes. Okay, and if you do that, that takes up a lot less room in the pointe shoe and allows you to get a much truer fit. A Grishko pointe shoe is designed to support most of your body weight through this part of the shoe here. Now, when you go up on pointe in a Grishko shoe, you shouldn't feel that your foot slides down into the shoe and that weight is taken on the end of your toes. All right, the shoe should be holding you here so that once you go up onto pointe, even from a seated position, just resting your toes on pointe, that the shoe is gripping you and you're not slipping down. If you are slipping down, the shoe is too big for a Grishko and you need to find a better size. So it's usually by going down a width or down a size. If you go down a size, you probably, or half a size, you stay with the same width. If you go down a width, you might need to play around with the sizing. But you need to play around up and down widths and sizes until the shoe is gripping you nice and securely through this part. Okay. If when you put it on you feel, once you're on pointe, that it is holding you and supporting you, but the odd toe, your baby toe or one of the other toe knuckles is rubbing or hurting, that's when you can cushion those individual toes with either, as I say, a little toe sock or a pinky pad or some tape. Now, sometimes in a busy pointe shoe fitting shop, there isn't time for lots of individual toe padding, unfortunately, because we do believe that that would be the best solution, is to only pad where you need it. And so sometimes a pointe shoe pad is the only way to go. Now, with a Grishko shoe, there shouldn't be room in the shoe for a whole big pointe shoe pad. But a good compromise of a pad is something that Tendu make called an advanced toe pad, and other manufacturers make something similar to this as well. And basically what it is fabric coating some spongy gel on the top surface and just thin fabric underneath at the bottom surface. Because if you think about it, you don't need padding under your toes. You don't take weight on that part of your toes when you're on pointe. This is the part of your toes that rub, that hurt, and that can take a bit of extra pressure. So it's much better to use this sort of pad than one that's got gel on both sides, because if you have gel on the underneath part of the pad, you can't feel the floor as easily, and you also can't tell when your shoe is dying, because shoes do die, unfortunately. So this is a very good option as a pointe shoe pad, because it doesn't take up so much room in the shoe, it doesn't affect the fitting so much. But usually if you're fitting a full size pad, you actually almost need to go up a size or a width, and in my experience it's very hard to get that same true tight fit. So if whole toe pads are going to be used, then something like this advanced toe pad by Tendu is a really good option. And as I say, other manufacturers do make a similar thing. But if you ask your local Grishko fitter to get you some of these toe pads in, then that's what you can use. But if you've got time to really get the fit perfect, then I would suggest you start off with just padding your big toe with a big tip and some micropore tape or pinky pads on the other toes. And then if one toe is particularly sore, just pad that up. But a Grishko shoe, once it's fitting really nicely and securely and snugly, you shouldn't feel that slipping down, you shouldn't feel weight on your toes, it should be supporting you. And what you'll also find when the Grishko shoe is fitted nice and tightly enough and snugly enough, that the arch of the shoe, the shank of the shoe, melts into your arch much better, and the whole shoe just molds to your foot much better. If you're in a shoe that's too big, you'll never ever get that shoe to mold nicely into your arch without slamming it in a door jamb, which is not really going to help the life of your shoes. So really persevere with getting the right fitted shoe, because when you're in the right shoe, point work is a whole lot more comfortable. Unfortunately, a lot of girls, when they go for their first point shoe fitting, they don't know what a point shoe should feel like. And so often they land up with a shoe that is way too big for them because they're familiar with street shoes and how street shoes feel. But a Grishko point shoe, in order to do its job properly, needs to be snug and tight and secure, because it can much better support the shoe. If you've got any questions about any of these issues, the padding or the Grishko Pointe shoes, you can always go and talk to your local Grishko stockist. You can find your local stockist by looking on our website, www.grishko.co.uk, and putting in your postcode, or email us at info@grishko.co.uk, and we're always happy to help. Okay, if you have any other questions, just get in touch. All right, happy dancing.